life's journey, with every twist and every turn, we're always learning. What I've learned as the mother of 4 kids is that it's not what happens to you that matters, it's how you respond that makes all of the difference. This is the key, I believe, to dealing with and coping with life when it doesn't seem to turn out the way we imagined it would. The other thing I've learned from being a mom comes from one of our favorite children's books, Hermie the Common Caterpillar. In this book, little Hermie is a plain green caterpillar. Each day he sees other animals. He sees a beautiful butterfly with wings to fly. He sees a bright red ladybug with perfect spots. He sees a snail with his very own house to live in. And he sees a strong ant who could carry a pine cone. Hermie just can't figure out why he was made to be so common. With each animal he sees, he says to God, "Why do you make me so common? Why can't I be beautiful? Why can't I be strong? Why can't I fly?" And each time, God replies, "Don't worry, Hermie. I'm just not finished with you yet." And these words are words that get me through my darkest of days. The world changes, progress is made, and you know what? God's work is never done, and that's a pretty neat concept to hold on to. My husband Jeff and I are college sweethearts. From the very beginning, we dreamed of having 4 children. Our first 2 kids, now 17 and 15, are active high school students. One is excelling on the offensive line in football, and the other is a strong and talented cheerleader. Our younger 2 children, Charlie, who is 10, and Jane, who is 7, came along a little later than we had planned. But as our family grew, we remember feeling so incredibly blessed and to finally have the family that we had always dreamed about. We were elated. Then came Charlie's first birthday. When a friend asked me, literally on his birthday, "So is Charlie walking yet?" And I was quick to respond, "No, but he's not even crawling. But you know what? No, everybody tells me he's not going to go to kindergarten not being able to walk." Well, that day, I was referred to the regional center who assessed Charlie. And that was the day our lives took on a new normal. We began the process of learning that our child was not reaching milestones and that our child needed help. Thus began years of therapy and doctor appointments, day in and day out, therapists and doctors pointing out all the things that were wrong with Charlie and all the things that needed to change and improve with Charlie. Finally, at age 3, he was diagnosed with mild cerebral palsy. We were told that most likely it was due from him having a stroke in utero. A few months later, after his diagnosis, Jane was born. When she was 9 months old, we began to realize that she was developing almost exactly like Charlie did. Could it be that both children had a stroke in utero? And that's what we were told after 2 rounds of genetic testing from 2 renowned hospitals came back normal. Eventually, Jane was also diagnosed with mild cerebral palsy. Have you ever felt like you were stuck in the mud, just army crawling through the sludge and darkness, not knowing when you'll ever see the light at the end of the tunnel? Well, that's what life was like for us for years. We felt like Hermie, the common caterpillar. Why can't we have play dates at the park? Why can't our kids participate in activities like other kids? All the while, our intuition told us that it wasn't really cerebral palsy. They displayed most of the characteristics of CP, yet their brain MRIs were normal. We were already entrenched with every form of therapy we could find: horseback riding, acupuncture, physical, occupational, speech, even hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Charlie and Jane were progressing, but we were burning out. Time and money were stretched thin, so we slowly began to believe that, you know what it is. Someday, perhaps in heaven, we would find our answer. Fast forward to this very event, the Global Genes Gala 2013, when Jeff and I sat in the audience, hearing a UCI geneticist speak about how quickly science had changed and how a newly available test called exome sequencing had been used to diagnose siblings with a rare disease. all of a sudden, this little Hermie advocate perked up, and curiosity was piqued once again. By the end of the event, we had connected with Dr. Virginia Kimonis, who's here tonight from UCI, and made plans to meet with her soon after the gala. Our appointment with her was a pivotal one. After learning about exome sequencing, we decided to send our blood to a genetic lab in Maryland to be tested, knowing that a definite answer wasn't guaranteed. But I'm thrilled to tell you that after 7 months of waiting for the results, we received the news just this past May that there is a name. There's an accurate diagnosis for Charlie and Jane. Charlie and Jane do not have cerebral palsy. What we learned is that Jeff and I both carry the same mutation in the N-glycanase. That took me like 3 weeks to learn how to pronounce, by the way. The N-glycanase 1 gene, and these genes were passed along to Charlie and Jane. Our Charlie and Jane have NGLY1 deficiency. This causes them to have global development delays. It impacts their cognitive processing capabilities. They have hundreds of seizures a day, and they don't produce tears, and they're at risk for liver abnormalities. What's amazing is that there are only 12 others with NGLY1 deficiency in the world. Thanks to the efforts of some very, very dedicated, to say the least, parents of NGLY1 deficient kids and talented doctors and scientists, a few of them who are here tonight, thank you, we are filled with hope for a cure. What's even more amazing is how incredibly wonderful it is to have an answer, to have knowledge, and most of all, to be connected with others who understand and who want success for each other's children. To not be alone on an island, to have an instant community, albeit small, for support, and to know that just like Hermie, the common caterpillar, God is not finished with our children yet. Perhaps Jane's dream of becoming a hairstylist, Charlie's dream of becoming a priest or a game show host. We call him Ryan Seacrest, you never know. We think those will become a reality. And thanks to exome sequencing, we're out of the mud. Our family is re-energized, and we believe that the possibilities that the future holds is endless. There isn't a cure yet for the NGLY1 community, but having a diagnosis means that it's time to roll up our sleeves, dust ourselves off, and focus on the future. We feel like we've just gained a new family, a family that knows that it's not what happens that matters, it's how we respond. So if you're a patient advocate who's still seeking a diagnosis, we are here to urge you to seek answers through sequencing. It may be scary to think about what you may find, but what's scarier is the unknown. Knowledge is power. It gives you the power to move mountains. If you're out of hope, please borrow ours. My parents always taught me that where there's a will, there's a way. Global Genes will help you find the way. My hope is that for all of you is that you will one day witness the Hermie in your life blossom into the most beautiful, colorful butterfly, where the only limit will be the sky, and I, for one, believe it is possible. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to you my Charlie and Jane, and they're here just to say hello to you and offer you hope. Charlie and Jane.